Lee, good to see you.
Okay.
You've taken your final training session with the senior team. You're about to take charge of your final game. I want to know what you thought of the experience as a whole. You know what the role entails now.
Yeah.
If it came up again in the future, would you be interested in maybe having another go?
Well, I think it's it's a great role. It's been a brilliant experience. At times it's been tough, but the tough times have been outweighed by nights like the other night. You always question whether you could do it. In terms of being in your comfort zone, it's something that both myself and the staff have been out of, which has done us good. Our focus is really on tomorrow now in terms of the future, and that's my priority, is making sure that we can get the job done tomorrow. Fully respectful of Ireland and the strengths that they have. So we have to make sure that we approach the game properly.
Come on, Harry. It was very new for us to see you on the bench the other night. Obviously, a new experience for you as well for a game that England needed to win. How was it being a sub?
Yeah, it's not the first time I've been a sub for England. I think, since Lee's been in charge, I've only played one game per camp. So, from my point of view, of course, I want to start every game. I've always wanted to start every game, and I've never shied away from that. But of course, I know that's not always possible. I know we're in a tough stage of the season, and whenever called upon, whether it's off the bench or starting, I'd always give my all for the team. And I thought the team played really well in a tough game the other night, and to win 3-0 away from home there, where they hadn't lost in a while, I thought was a really important victory, and it sets us up perfectly for tomorrow now.
I want to ask you as well about that interview you did on the eve of the game, where you seem to suggest that some of maybe your England teammates aren't as committed to international football as you are, and it's pretty clear just how much this means to you, playing for your country. You've made that clear every time you've put the shirt on, to be fair. Does it worry you that maybe it doesn't matter as much to some other England players as it does to you? No,
I don't think I said that. I think I gave my opinion on the matter. I think I probably didn't expect it to get as much coverage as it did, but it was my opinion. I think the November camp's always been a difficult camp. I think even when you look at other years, there's been players who have pulled out, and it's a tough stage of the season. You're carrying injuries. You're in the heart of a lot of games. So it was just my opinion that England is really important. After a major championship like the summer, sometimes these September, October, November camps kind of get forgot about a little bit, just in terms of how important they are, because if we win tomorrow now, it sets us up really well for the year ahead to the World Cup. So these are the camps as well where you build that culture and that togetherness that leads you into a World Cup. So yeah, it was just a reminder that playing for England is really, really special, and for me personally, it's one of the greatest things I do as a professional footballer, and I'd always try and do it whenever I'm available.
Hi Lee. If England win tomorrow and you win the group and get promotion to the top level of the Nations League, that would be your objective for your time in charge completed. Where would that rank in kind of your coaching achievements, and does it give the game a bigger feel tomorrow? Yeah,
I mean, I try and look beyond myself. To be honest, I think it's important that for the longer term view, that the best thing for us is to get promotion, and that sets us up for the draw at the World Cup, and like I say, what was set out beforehand, it will be achieved. But yeah, it'll be more beneficial for the players than it will be myself, and I just hope they can do well tomorrow and show us what we've seen in training, their application, the way that they've been committed to what we've tried to do has been very good.
And while you've been in charge, you've brought through quite a few new players from the under-21s through the pathway. Do you think maybe part of your legacy from this role will be some of the new faces and in the generation, and if they stay in the England team going forward?
Well, I think that's the challenge, to stay in the squad now. It's a tough squad to get into. We've got so much quality. They've put themselves in the picture now to be selected. I think it's good longer term as well for Thomas. The pool of players has increased. I think it's always, I wouldn't say quite a gamble putting a younger player in, but I've seen them up close. I see what they can do. I see what they're capable of. most importantly, they've got the mentality to compete. Now the challenge is for them now is to stay in the squad, because, like I say, there's that many quality players around. The competition for places is extreme, and they've got to make sure they stay in the race.
And one for Harry as well. I know you said you didn't expect your comments to get as much reaction as they did in the media, but do you think you'll see a reaction from some of your teammates and players for camps going forward?
I don't know. I think all the players, try and give their best whenever they come with England, and like I touched on there, I know it's a really tough stage of the season, but whoever's in the squad, I think, is the most important thing. I think Lee said that the other day about, what we have here is all we can work with, and it gives, some players a great opportunity to, get their nose in the team. So, going forward, there's always going to be injuries. There's always going to be people in and out, and that's part and parcel of international football. It's just whoever is with the squad, just to make sure they're ready to play and make a difference. And from now until the World Cup, there's a few camps to, try and work your way into the team.
Further questions? Yep, back to Paul. Sorry, Paul, you use the mic, sorry. There you go. Cheers.
Good afternoon. So, Harry, you mentioned there you expect to play at least one game in the camp if there's 2 games. So, are you definitely playing tomorrow?
I don't want to give anything away, but you have to ask the manager that question, I guess.
Yes, he is definitely playing tomorrow.
What's the reason behind that, besides the obvious one of Harry's sort of pedigree?
Well, that is the obvious one. I think not only with Harry Kane, you always think goals, but he brings a lot more to the squad and the team than that. His leadership skills, he's a good guy, which is really important as well. The example he sets to the younger players, he's a crucial part of the England team and moving forward. And I'm looking forward to seeing him again tomorrow.
Does that mean you play a different way than you did against Greece?
No, not necessarily. No, I think Harry brings something different to Ollie Watkins. But what they both do is score goals, and Harry's shown in the past that he's very versatile in the way that we play. And it's important that we always play to his strengths, which we try to do.
And finally, for me, have you had any discussions with Thomas Tuchel on the phone since the Greece game? Or
No. The plan is that I will catch up with him after camp and talk through the players and my thoughts on the experience that we've had.
Thanks, Paul. James Ollie.
Hi, guys. Harry, you said earlier that these autumn camps are where the culture's kind of built going forward. So how is that affected then when there is a permanent manager who's not starting until January?
Yeah, well, I think, Lee's come in and done a fantastic job of, firstly, the way we wanted to play and having more control of games. Also, some of the younger players who have come in and, experienced playing for England in the first team and have done really well as well. That will just naturally build. It isn't just these camps. I think from now until the World Cup, you step by step, you build that culture. And I think it's down to me and some of the older ones like Walks and Picks who have been here for a while to start showing that to some of the younger players coming through, because I think, it takes a long time to build that, and we've done a really good job building that, and it's something that you don't want to lose as you start to get more younger players into the team. So yeah, it isn't just these camps. I think as we go along now and when Thomas starts in March, that will just naturally progress, and then you build that up until obviously the summer, the following summer, because it comes around so quick. Before we know it, we'll be this time next year talking about a World Cup in 7 or 8 months. So it's important that that foundation is laid as early as possible.
And obviously the culture was so good under Gareth, and obviously Lee's done well to maintain that. But how fragile is that? Is there a risk that could be lost whenever a new manager comes in, no matter what the circumstances are?
Yeah, I think so. I think it takes a long time to build, and maybe not so long to lose if you're not careful. So, but I think we're well aware of that. I think, like I said, the experienced players. I think Lee's done a great job, and I'm sure Thomas will come in and have his own ideas and ways that he wants to build his culture. And yeah, ultimately, we've had some really good tournaments, and it's about using that experience and sharing some of those experiences to the players who haven't had as much exposure to that. And then from now, we've got a bit of time, and yeah, it's just about kind of step by step helping the lads, understand what we're going to be going into in 18 or 19 months' time.
And just finally for me, can I just ask, have you had any contact with Thomas since he was appointed?
No, I texted him when it got announced. Yeah, he texted me back, but I haven't spoken to him since. So I'm sure, before the March camp next year, probably we'll catch up. And but yeah, nothing else.
Thank you.
Forward to Simon Peach. Yeah.
Hi, Lee. Just a quick one. We saw you said you weren't going to take any risks with Esri Konsa, so just wondering what the situation is with him and the rest of the squad ahead of tomorrow.
Yeah, so he's been assessed by the medical team, and the scan results are back, and now he'll go back to Villa this afternoon. So, like I said, we won't take any risk with any of the players. So, apart from Esri, we're in good condition.
If you pass it back to them. Thank you.
Hi Lee, I know you've had a few months to dwell on it, but can I just ask you to revisit the Dublin game, and not a great start when you went to the wrong dugout, but that emotion of managing your native country against a team that you played for, and will that be in your mind this week, or do you have to detach yourself from the emotion of that? Yeah,
it's very, very difficult to detach yourself from it, to be honest. I think when when I spoke to John McDermott a couple of days after Gareth had gone to talk about the potential of taking the squad for the Nations League, the first thing I did was look at the fixtures and then when you realise that obviously it's the Republic of Ireland, which is it's a big thing. The amount of caps that I got, but the amount of time that's spent during that time as well, in terms of making my debut at whatever it was, 24 right up until 30 odd. And what goes with that. So it was, but it was a great day. It was good to see so many old faces that were there when I was playing, and I'm really looking forward now to tomorrow. It's definitely a game that we need to win. It's a big game for us. We're no means taking Ireland lightly. We've watched all of the games that they've played. You can see that they're getting better. The coach is obviously putting his own spin on the team, and that's a game that I'm really looking forward to playing in tomorrow. But another proud moment to manage England at Wembley. And can I just ask you about Evan Ferguson? If my dates are right, his dad Barry was at Coventry at the same time as you. He was probably in the background. I don't really remember him that much. Okay. But just his performance the other night, where he had a relatively quiet game against Finland, but did really well for that finish. Just your thoughts on Evan, and maybe the dangers to you from his performance in the game. Yeah, well, he's a player that I know a lot about. I've seen a lot of him at Brighton, so a player that we're fully aware of. Our centre backs will watch all of the clips of all of the forwards, so there'll be no surprises. But he took his goal really well. It looked like a good game, an exciting game, and he's a player that definitely we'll be watching closely. Gary.
Question for you, Harry. You're going to start into a winter break soon in the Bundesliga. It's not something the Premier League players have because they've got the later mid-August start, but having been in the Premier League the previous seasons with that break, how much did that improve your push on to the next part of the season? And for the welfare of players and peaking at the right time of the summer, ideally, should they return?
Yeah, I think it would be great for them to have the winter break. We had it for, I think, about 2 years in the Prem, and I think it went down really well with the players. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the schedules, and they are difficult. And obviously, it was my first real experience of a longer winter break last year, and I felt it really helped me, just recover in a really tough period. And but that's probably a wider conversation about the schedule and how that can be helped. And it's a shame, they've taken that back again, and they don't get that break, because I feel like. For a lot of the players, it was a really important, even just a week or so, to get away and recharge and finish the season, and going into the major tournaments when we have them as well is obviously a plus as well.
Haaland, who on a major tournament nationally or internationally, if he qualifies for one, would be a real challenge for the Golden Boot. He said of having the international break off for him in the summer that he could mentally refresh. If we're at the point for congestion in fixtures that a top striker like that is saying it, do you hope that the top bodies take seriously what the players are saying at the moment?
Yeah, I hope they do. I mean, whether it's going to change anytime soon, I'm not sure. I think there's conversations to be had probably behind the scenes, and maybe with some of the maybe more experienced players as well, to try and help the situation. But it's hard to say from my point of view whether it's going to change or not. I think there's definitely a sense that something does need to change to benefit the players more. But as we know, it's not always an easy solution to make that change.
And were you quite surprised by the reaction to you not starting in the game in Greece? And how refreshed and raring to go are you now?
Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't really know how big the reaction was or not. I'm not someone who focuses on that too much. Like I said earlier, whether I'm starting on the bench or I start in the starting lineup, I'll be ready to help the team. And I'm really excited for the game tomorrow, being at Wembley, a chance to finish off a good campaign and a good year for England, because it has been a really good year for the national team, and it'll be a nice way to finish with a win tomorrow at Wembley.
There you guys, we'll end it there. Thanks for your time.